All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin this lesson by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High in the proper names in the Paleo Hebrew tongue. I want to say, Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, Ba Hashem Yahushai, Ba Hashem Rakakadash Ma'amath. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, whom the world eagerly and willingly call God Jehovah. Ba Hashem meaning in the name of Yahushai, meaning He who delivers, whom the world eagerly and willingly call JC today. I want to give a double honor to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who rule well, and another double honor to my other apostle as well, Ahara Wanabe Yasharallah of the Lions Den camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. Salutations to the 144,000 hopeful elect pushing His truth across the four winds, and to the 1/3 remnant believers on Yahweh Shema Shah, Shalom, Shalom. It's going to be a quick lesson put together through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah, and I pray to be edifying. And this lesson is going to be entitled, Wealth Maketh Many Friends. All right, so wealth maketh many friends. When you're a rich man in this life, riches equal power. So the more money you have in this world, the more power you have. So wealth maketh many friends. When you become rich, you got a lot of people that want to cleave to you. They want to they want to be a part of your empire. But the true riches will be this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So, and this wisdom, the world ain't seeking after the true riches because they so busy seeking after the carnal riches of this world. So I'm start off in the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 13, in verse 21. It says, "A rich man beginning to fall is held up of his friends, but a poor man being down is thrust also away by his friends." So when you're a rich man, you're a holder. You being held together by your friends. You remember Trump? He did that interview a few years back. He said, "I haven't always been rich. I had to take a small loan out for my dad from $1 million." You see what I'm saying? So, they have people to hold them up. They begin to fall. All they got to do is start a war, or whatever the case may be. But it says, "But a poor man being down is thrust also away by his friend." So when a poor man is down, he's going to be thrust away. People are going to kick him when he's down. They're going to begin to look down on him. They're going to feel as if that he's nothing because he don't have power in this world. But that same poor man is basically who Yahweh Shema Shah exalts and gives him the riches of the scriptures, the wisdom, knowledge, understanding. It says, verse 22, "When a rich man is fallen, he have many helpers. He speaketh things not to be spoken, and yet man justify him. The poor man slipped, and yet they rebuked him too. He spake wisely and could have no place." So so in this life, if you don't have carnal riches, the people who claim that they love you, your family, you got cousins, your aunts, your lovers, or whatever the case may be, they begin to look down on you. So like it says, he spake wisely and could have no place. It don't matter if you have wisdom, you still can't have a seat at their table. But it doesn't matter because what? We have a seat at Yahweh Shema Shah's table. Verse 23, "When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue, and look what he said. They install it to the clouds. But if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him." So when a rich man speak, everybody gonna be quiet and they're gonna listen to the things that he has to say. Because money is power. Go back the other way. Money is power in this life, right? So if you don't have no money, to our people, you don't have no power. So they feel as if the very wisdom that you have doesn't mean anything. So it says, "But if a poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him." So we have to just be grateful. Be grateful because guess what? They did it to Yahweh Shai. They was asking Yahweh Shai loaded questions. You know, they ask him a question, wait for him to give an answer. As soon as he give an answer, you know, they already got it in their mind, their heart, their lob, what they wanted to do. And how they wanted to handle Yahushua, you know, but it wasn't the Father's time for them to take hold of him. But even so, he was still constantly speaking and showing forth his wisdom, the true riches, the wisdom, knowledge, understanding of the scriptures. It's all right. It's all right. When you're a poor man and you show forth wisdom, you know, people, it says they will help to overthrow him. They all going to consult with one consent to basically overthrow you and make it seem as if that you don't have any knowledge. But the scriptures say, I know thy works, tribulation, and poverty, but thou art rich. So, all right, the Lord knows our poverty. He knows our works. You know, he knows our tribulation, the things that we suffer here in this life. But guess what? He still said that we rich. We're rich because what? We had this wisdom, knowledge, understanding. You know, to break down deep things in the scriptures and to understand that our blessing is coming. You know, basically we're gonna rule the earth. You know, and we store riches in heaven by doing this work, showing forth faith. You know, preaching across the four winds. So one day we're gonna reap the benefit of our reward. You know, we just gotta remain diligent. Salakia. So this is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12, and verse 8. It says, a friend cannot be known in prosperity, and an enemy cannot be hidden in adversity. So right, you ain't gonna be able to tell who your friends is in your prosperity, because everybody gonna be trying to act like your friend. You know, everybody gonna want to come around you, be around you, act as if that they was here with you the whole time, act as if that they didn't help to overthrow you. You know, faking as if, you know, faking the funk, because that's how people is. You know, they want to be able to get as much leverage over somebody who they deem as important or whatever. They try to have leverage over you. You know, coming deceiving, smiling, right? It says a friend cannot be known in prosperity. You ain't gonna be able to tell who your friends is when you're up. It says that an enemy cannot be hid in adversity. You're gonna know exactly who your enemies is when you're going through something. Because when you're going through something, your real friends are gonna help you. They're gonna be by your side the whole time. You know, but an enemy, he can't be hid. He gonna show his horns. He gonna show his snake teeth. He quick to ready to bite you. You know, constantly putting his mouth on you. You know, saying all manner of evil and wickedness about you. You know, calling you all manner of things. Right? It says a friend cannot be known in prosperity, and an enemy cannot be hid in adversity. In the prosperity of a man, enemies will be grieved, but in the adversity, even a friend will depart. So, right, you know, your enemies, they're gonna be grieved when they see, you know, how much the Lord bless you, you know, how much the Lord exalt you. You see what I'm saying? But in your adversity, even the same person who you thought was your friend gonna depart. You know, gonna turn their back on you. So, right, I would scripture say what? Take heed of thy friends. Ecclesiasticus chapter 6 and verse 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. So, right, it's the scripture say, he that is hasty to credit is light-minded. He that is basically something like that to that effect. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. A real friend gonna go through the mud with you and stay there all the way to the end. You know, until the Lord exalt you and bless you. Right? It says, verse 8, for some man is a friend for his own occasion and will not abide in the day of thy trouble. So, right, it's not going to be there with you when times get rough. That's what the scripture say, take heed of your friends. You know, but we know that through the spirit power of Yahweh Shema Shai, we directing our friendship, all right, by calling the name of the Lord. And Yahweh Shema Shai basically surround us around like-minded individuals, you know, that seek him first. And by them seeking him first, you know, it's like he put us together. He make it a way for us to contact each other, you know, or be around each other, teach with each other, basically what I'm trying to say. It says, for some man is a friend for his own occasion and will not abide in the day of thy trouble. As there is a friend who being turned to enmity and strife will discover thy reproach. All right, so you're going to tell all your secrets. You know, as soon as he get mad, he going to begin to be boastful and prideful and be arrogant, you know, and basically turn against his own friend and discover thy reproach. It says, verse 10, again, some friend is a companion at the table and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. So, all right, going to be right there eating up your bread, you know, benefiting. And then as soon as your adversity season comes, guess what they're going to do? They're going to haul ass and look for another friend that they can, that basically they can eat off his table. Right? It says again, some friend is a companion at thy table and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. But in thy prosperity, he will be as thyself and will be bold over thy servants. Right? Right. Your prosperity, he gonna be all at your house, all you know, faking like the favorite uncle, you know, the favorite auntie. You feel what I'm saying? All type of things, man. It's all right. Verse 12, if thou be brought low, he will be against thee and will hide himself from thy face. Right. Like King David, man. King David said his lover and his friends stand aloft or something like that. They basically separated themselves from King David. They didn't want no parts of King David. They basically saw his affliction. They stood back saying, aha, right? It says, if thou be brought low, he will be against thee and will hide himself from thy face. Separate thyself from thy enemies and take heed of thy friends. All right, Lord do the sifting process. He weighs the heart and he see the hearts of people. And those same people, he don't want them in his tabernacle. So he calls those same people to go where they love at, and that's basically the world. But those that are truly of Yahweh Shema Shai, they're going to gravitate towards him, and they're going to direct their friendship aright. So it says, separate thyself from thy enemies and take heed of thy friends. A faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that found such an one have found a treasure. It's all right. That's right. You have a faithful friend. That's a strong defense, right? The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it, and it's safe. You know, so the Lord said, well, he called us not more servants, but friends. You know, those that use wisdom become friends of God, right? It's all right. So we directed our friendship all right. A faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that have found such an one, such an one have found a treasure. Nothing doeth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is unvaluable. So right. So we pull up Saturday. We get to first and foremost we get to Romans chapter 5. We get to come to the Lord's throne. You know, and able to call on the name of the Lord, pray to the Lord, and have hope and mercy, hope and faith in those names. You know, he gives us experience, and he basically helps us get to the next level in this walk, and he keeps us strong. So, right, first and foremost, we get to call on the name of the Lord. You know, we wasn't utterly cast off like we should have been at Sodom and Gomorrah. And it says a faithful friend. It says his excellency is unvaluable, I think. Can't put no number on it. It's the top tier. It's the alpha and omega, the ceiling, the floor, the roof, everything that fill up the room. Everything. Right? It says verse 16, a faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him. So right. It's all right, man. So we found Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. We found Yahweh Shema Shai. And by us finding Yahweh Shema Shai, he put us around like-minded individuals that call on his name in truth and sincerity. So we have become friends of God and he put us around his friends. So we able to sit at his table and sup with him. You know, we able to get all up in his game room and sup with him. One day we gonna even drink wine with him. He gonna put crowns on our head. All right. Verse 17, whoso feared the Lord shall direct his friendship aright, for as he is, so shall his neighbor be also. That's all right, man. So we directing our friendship right, and Yahweh Shemashah putting us around like-minded individuals, brothers. You know, we able to call ourselves the hopeful elect. We able to send up spiritual sacrifices together. You know, one day we might be able to take the world together. Daniel chapter 7 verse 18. Lord, I'm a part of that number. It's all right. It's all right. Let me keep going. What's that? Proverbs chapter 9 and verse 14. Topic of the lesson. Proverbs chapter 9 and 19 and verse 4. It says, wealth maketh many friends, but the poor is separated from his neighbors. All right, when you're rich in this life, man, everybody gonna want to be your friend. But when you're rich in wisdom, knowledge, understanding, you're gonna be separated from your neighbor. Nobody's gonna want to be around you. Nobody's gonna want to basically sup with you. You know, because you're not of the world. You of Yahweh Shema Shai. Wealth will make many friends, but the poor is separated from his neighbor. You know, just like King David in the book of Psalms. Let me keep going. Should be the last precept. It's going to be the last precept in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 9, and verse 14. All right, it says, there was a little city and few men within it, and there came a great king against it and besieged it, and built great bulwarks against it. Now there was found in the there was found in it a poor wise man, and he by his wisdom delivered the city, yet no man remembered that same poor man. It's all right. You know, but if he would have been a rich man, everybody would knew about him, or built up all type of statues or whatever the case may be, like they're doing today, which the hopeful elect of Yahweh Shema Shai, we don't desire, those things. We just want to be able to enter into his gates, what is established on earth as it is in heaven, being the first fruits, Lord willing. Right? It says, yet no man remembered that same poor man. Then said I, wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. So, right, the poor man's wisdom is despised. The poor man's wisdom is basically gonna cause you to fix yourself. The poor man's wisdom is gonna force you to fix the inner man, to clean the inside of the cup, and not just walk around with the outside of the cup all nice and decorated, but your inward man is full of dead man's bones. So, right, the poor man's wisdom is despised, but the poor man's wisdom comes, from the throne of Yahweh Shema Shai. I pray this lesson was edifying. Shalom on to the next.